Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bullshit Podcast, where it's basically me talking about LARP and just general bullshit, and hopefully you listen. If not, well, you know, whatever. But let's talk about my absence. So I haven't put out a podcast in a little while because, well, the reason is I had a mild stroke, which isn't the first one I've had, so I wasn't scared or anything. It's like, hey, fuck it, another thing for me to put on my list of things trying to kill me. But it is kind of LARP related because when I went to the last Exo Fest, I drank a lot and that thinned my blood out. But I'm already on blood thinners, so my blood was then too thin. So it was super liquidy rather than sort of, you know how blood usually is. So it was too runny, so they took me off my blood thinners when I had my first test, and then I went back onto my blood thinners because my blood was too thick. It was like a gravy. So they put me back on my blood thinners. Then my blood thinned out. But some of that thick gravy blood decided to clot up. And it floated up, melted on my brain, and gave me a mild stroke. So it's called a TIA. It's not a full-fledged, you know, fuck your shit up, everyone run for the hills sort of stroke. Basically, I got up and I was getting ready with my son. And I had double vision where I was sort of looking straight forward, but I was also, it felt like I was tilting my head to the left. So I had two images that I was seeing of the same thing, one on a 90-degree angle and one straight forward. So I was a little bit confused, dizzy, and then my wife was out at an appointment. She came home, took me to the hospital. Sure enough, it was another stroke. I knew it was happening because this isn't the first time I've had a stroke. So, yeah, again, I wasn't really worried about it, but it is something that I should be worried about. But I'm kind of that YOLO type, as the kids say. So, went to hospital. I was okay within a couple of hours. Lucky it's not like a full-fledged stroke, but every time they see me, they're basically like, this is the warning shot. You're going to have a big stroke, so we need to get everything in line. So, yeah, that's pretty much the reason that I was away. So it was LARP related because I drink at LARPs. Yay! Drinking is not safe for everyone. So let's get back into trying to do this on a regular basis, on a weekly basis if possible. It has been a little while, and then I'm going to do one today, try and pump it out, release it today or tomorrow, and this won't make sense when you're listening to it. And then I'm going to try and do another one before I go on holidays, which I will be away for another 5 days. I'll come back and I'll try and do another one, but I'm going to Fiji. So yeah, sucked in. Anyone in Melbourne, it's going to be cold as shit for you. And now that I've insulted all of my audience, because I don't think anyone out of Melbourne listens to me, let's get into it. So this week I want to talk about things that I want in my LARP world. So obviously I play a fantasy LARP, so medieval sort of fantasy, and I will be doing a little bit of the Warhammer fantasy side of LARP with Swordcraft. I do plan on doing that, seeing how they're going, because I haven't been to Swordcraft in a while. They sort of irked me a little bit when they changed to Warhammer, because I don't like being pigeonholed. I like creative freedom, but I'm going to give it a go, see what they've got going on, and give them a fair assessment, because it's not fair that I just shit on them just because I'm not a fan of Warhammer. But I'll give that a swing. But that's the style that I play, mainly medieval fantasy. So there are certain things that I usually would have avoided that I want, and there's some things that I shouldn't be avoiding, but I don't have. So the first one that I learnt at EXO is tables and chairs. I never bring tables and chairs. Like, I think I've brought a chair once and maybe a bench once, but I've never brought a table. I've built tables, but I never bring one. And me and T-Bone were talking about it, and T-Bone basically said, next camp, why don't we have a table? Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it? So we're definitely going to do that. I want to build my own table if possible, where I can sort of build in my copper bouncing game into the table. Again, not rigged, you pussies. But yeah, I want to build that table and have it designed so you can play that game. But just like the idea is in Red Dead Redemption 2 online, you can have like a little table at your camp and all your mates can come and sit around it. And, you know, I think you can play cards. I don't know. But yeah, it's sort of like a chill sort of gang hideout table. So he's like, why don't we have that? And I'm like, okay, that's fucking logical. Because the 9 years or whatever I've been doing LARP, that answer will always change. I've never had an actual sit-down table. I always eat off a chopping block that I put on my legs. I never have a table. So that's one big thing that I want to bring. Table and chairs. Fuck, so stupid. The next thing, this is something that I usually would have avoided. Mainly because I can't see. I have shitty eyes. But playing at ExoFest with the Naughty Boys, they had guns. And me and T-Bone got to shoot the guns and realized that they actually have a bit of power to them. And we're like, fuck it, let's get guns. Why don't we have guns? Let's be America. No, oh, too soon. Don't do that. Shh. Cancel. Cut that. Yeah, let's get guns. So T-Bone basically came home with a boner, and he's already producing guns, like multiple guns already. But we're making our own style of guns. We're not making your long rifles or your pistols. We're making like little fucking angry, pump shotty sort of looking sort of shotgun style guns. They still only fire the one band. We're not going to do double band yet until we figure out a good mechanism for it, but that will pretty much be one of the first things that we focus on. But at the moment, we've got one gun that we've sort of tested out, and it definitely works, so we're going to keep producing them. We got everything cut out. We just need a little bit more of the materials. But these things look awesome. We're going to engrave them, customize them. Everyone's going to have a different gun. It's not going to be the stock standard. Everyone's gun looks the same type shit. The handles will be engraved. The metal will be engraved. It's just going to be completely different to everyone else's. So if we get them mixed up, you're not going to think that ours is yours. So that's something that I usually would avoid because, again, I have really shitty eyes. So I'm assuming very highly that I'm going to shoot a band and then go to collect it and I'll never find it again. So we're going to have to make a lot of bands. But that's one thing that I definitely want. So tables, chairs, and guns. That's a redneck Christmas right there. The other thing that I've really been looking into getting, and I need a little help with it, is armor customization. So I have my leather armor that I wear, the black armor, and I really want to add metal plating to the front of it and then engrave that. But I need to figure out a really lightweight metal and something that I can sort of get hit on and it's not going to bend and stab into my stomach every time I bend forward, things like that. So I'll talk to T-Bone about that as well because he's my metal guy, and we'll figure out something there. And then I'll talk to Gij from Gigivons, and I'll get him to engrave something for me. But if you are looking to get custom engraving done, go to Gigivons. He's ridiculously good. He makes me feel like a talentless fucking hack. So that's another thing that I really want to customize my armor a little bit more because I haven't seen anyone that wears the same armor as me. And if you do, I've already customized it enough where we won't look the same. But more and more customization is never bad for me. I love being able to add to things that I've already got to make them better. Because if I go out and just get more armor, I don't have anywhere to store the armor that I've already got. And my wife wants me to start shoveling the shit out. So I have to come up with ways to just improve the things that I already have. So let's just take a little quick break and get into some LARP news. Swordcraft is hosting their next quest event, Swordcraft's Blood and Gold, The Darkness Within, will be held September 25th to October 2nd. So this is a 7-day LARP event. Obviously, first day setup, last day breakdown, but you should be in character anywhere in between those points, unless you're a noob. But if you are a noob and you want to get into LARP, this is a great way to do it. This is one of the things that I really enjoyed as a new LARPer. Going to these events. Swordcraft does hold good events. I know I shit on Swordcraft every now and then now, but to be fair, they are the reason that I am the way that I am when it comes to LARP. They inspired me to make my camps more immersive because I wanted to be better than everyone else. And as arrogant as that sound, I felt like I achieved that in a lot of ways. But I've actually seen a lot of really good things coming out of Swordcraft. Be their Bendigo games or their Ballarat games, wherever they're holding their events. I'm starting to see a lot more immersion focus. So their town last time was a lot bigger, which I love. I love a big town. One thing that I hope that they try and steer away from is the sort of like plastic marquee looking tents. Try and avoid that if you can, but if you can't, I know any sort of tent is expensive these days, so that may be something that they can't really avoid if they want to get the scale that they're looking for. The site that they're holding it at, I don't think has been confirmed 100%, but I'm hearing it is out sort of past Geelong Way, around that sort of area. So I don't know, what's that, fucking east, southwesty sort of area. I don't know, but it's out that way most likely. And I've got friends that live out there and they're saying that is quite a nice area. So that sounds good because I think they've held their last few events at Lardner Park. And personally, I'm not a big fan of Lardner. I feel like it's just a green piece of paper and you stand on that. There's no real variety to the landscape except for like a hill. And everyone fucking hated that hill. But they are holding this event again, September 25th to October 2nd. It's full in character event, preferably. Like obviously you've got people that'll go in and out, but if you can stay in character, do that because it makes the event that much better. If you can focus on immersive camps just to make me happy, do that because I love seeing photos of other people doing it. The Goat Riders Horde, this is sort of separate news to it, but included. The Goat Riders Horde is actually coming back to Swordcraft after I think maybe a 2 or 3 year gap. We haven't really been doing a lot of Swordcraft stuff here in Melbourne. So we are getting the Goat Riders to come back. Sadly, I won't be there to immersion Nazi the shit out of our camp. So, you know, yeah, I'm going to hold them to a high standard even though I'm not there. I've got Sam. He's sort of spearheading a lot of it. Who's messaging me? Fuck off. I'm in the middle of a podcast. But yeah, Sam's spearheading everything for the goats, and I'm really proud of the enthusiasm that he's got. So again, if you can get to Swordcraft, Blood and Gold, held in September, get to it because I really do miss these events. The last bit of LARP related news I've got is a trivia night being held by the Exodus community. It's a LARP charity gala. They're hoping that everyone can make it because it would be a big thing. It's obviously going to charity. The trivia night is BYO snacks, drinks and finger foods, but the committee will actually be selling some soft drinks, snacks, things like that. And they're giving away a grazing box to one of the lucky tables. So for the next 2 weeks, any ticket sold will go into the draw to win the grazing platter for their table. Competition closes on Sunday the 12th of June, and they'll announce the winner on Monday the 13th of June. But grab your friends, book a table, get excited, show off your trivia knowledge, and raise some money for charity. I'm reading that off a script. That sounded natural. That sounded natural. Yeah, that was pretty natural. But the event will be held Saturday the 6th of August at 6 p.m. It's at Kathleen Syme Library and Community Centre, 251 Faraday Street, Carlton. So that again here in Victoria because I'm a local fuck and I don't really know much about anywhere else. But yeah, this is the first LARP charity event trivia night. There'll be 3 charities represented. Pets of the Homeless. So I love that one. That's awesome. I love me some pets. When I see homeless people with pets, it makes you feel bad and you want to give them money. So it'd be good to get that one supported. Women's community shelters, obviously a massive fucking thing that Australia needs. because ScoMo is a fuckface and he probably gutted all the funding for women's shelters. So yeah, get behind that one as well. And I think the last one is Amaze, which I think is the autism one, if I'm not wrong. I had to look it up, and I think it is the autism one, which obviously a massive part of the LARP community, kind of autistic. They're on the spectrum. There's a lot of them. So that's another thing. You're supporting the community as well as supporting a great cause. So if you can get a ticket to this, book a table with some friends. If you've got general knowledge or that one dickhead in your crew that just seems to fucking know random shit about everything, like in 1965, Ted DiBiase that's my brother. He knows everything about wrestling and it's fucking annoying. But he might be good at a charity night. So if you've got a friend like that, definitely get in touch and bring them down to this event, because they may actually win you the grazing platter and help you raise some money for some really worthy causes. Again, Pets of the Homeless, Amaze, the women's shelters, all good. You can't go wrong with that. So again, that event is something that you can get behind, and it helps a lot of things that obviously need the support. So get your table booked and get into it, you fuckfaces. I'm leaving the details down below. Zippity-doo. Okay, so now that that mildly offensive news break is done, let's get back into the random shit that I want for my LARP world. I need a new shield. And I need someone that knows how to build shields, because I've got a few people that want shields. But I've got a sort of a gym foam mat thing that I've got here that I've had sitting on my floor for ages, and it's carved to look like just a chunk of wood. Kind of cartoony. I'm not 100% happy with it, but I was told that when I put the latex paint over it, it will sort of seal the cracks that I've carved to look like wood grain, and it will make them a little bit thinner. So at the moment, it kind of looks cartoony, but once I've sort of painted it up, hopefully that will fix up. But I needed a good shield maker, because I do want to make a proper Viking shield. I'm talking actual metal around the rim, things like that. It doesn't need to be like strong wood. I'm not using it to stop axes and swords and spears and stuff. I literally just want to have it hanging on my wall. But that is something that I'm looking into getting for my LARP world. Another thing that my wife will be annoyed that I own. And I think, fuck it, no one really listens to my podcast. So I may as well say it. Me and my wife are having another baby. So I want little baby Viking clothes, which would be amazing. I don't want to reveal the gender, because I know there's a lot of people that don't want to know the gender. And if that was to leak and it's my fault, I'd feel like a douche. But I want to make little Viking clothes, especially for my son, now that he's a little bit older and he can understand that he's wearing little costume. That would be cool. And I'll make him a little foam weapon and things like that. He's got a little, because his name's Link, he's got a little Legend of Zelda's Master Sword and Hyrulean shield, which is cool. I prefer the Deku shield, but And yeah, so that's something that we're doing. So I want to make little Viking stuff, because my friend Podrick, he's got his kids coming to LARPs and they look cute as fuck, and they seem to be a great way to make some money in character. So yeah, I'm going to exploit my children to make me money, and then I'll just spend that money on dumb shit like making people do fucking cartwheels all the way through town or something strange. But that's another thing that I really want. Little Viking clothes. I want a Viking shield. And one day I want to make a real Viking axe, like a Ragnar axe, you know, those little hatchet hand axes. I really want one of them. But if you can comment down below the things that you really want, if I can find people that can help you get the things that you want, that would be cool. I would love to be able to do that. So if you say, oh, I need to get some armor engraved, I will point you to Gigivon's. What a fine establishment, Gigivon's custom engraving and leatherwork. But I've got a few friends that actually make bits and pieces of armor now, and I've got people that I know that can make real cool cosplay like foam armor. Astro Kerry pops to mind. So whether or not she does custom commission work, I don't know, but she makes some gangsta ass shit. So yeah, if you are interested in anything in particular, comment down below. I would love to try and help people, steer them in the right direction and get them to the things that they want. But yeah, so as I said at the start, this is going to be a shorter episode, and while recording it, that's what I wanted to do. Whether or not I've actually achieved that, I don't know until I start editing. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Again, I'm sorry I had a stroke. It's Larp's fault, and we should all hold it against Larp. Blame Package. Package gave me a stroke. That's what happened. Package is the reason that I had a stroke. No. Fuck. I'll probably have to cut that. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. I plan on having my brother, T-Bone, or Finn. So keep an ear out. And if you are interested in being a guest on the show, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you have anyone that you would love to hear from, comment down below. Even if you think that there's someone that thinks I'm a dickhead and they would call me a dickhead on camera, I'm happy to put them on the show. Fuck it. I don't care. Whatever. I got thick skin. Don't make me cry.